Hi guys, this is RC and today we would be learning about the reseller platform on Appify. So once you register with Appify as a reseller, you'll have to go to the Appify website to get in. So you put in your details here into appify.com and I'm going to show you a demo version of it. Put in the password and log in. Now this typically is the reseller dashboard that you see here. So you've got the user segment, the user apps segment. So these are your users who would be creating apps with you. The apps that they create would all be here. Your configuration settings go here. Your coupons get managed here if you're creating any. And then there's a CMS platform that you can use for creating text pages and adding to your app. And your plan goes here and your payment history comes here. Now let's get each of these quickly. Let's go to my users. Okay, so this shows you a list of all your users in terms of their details, the email, the state, the country, the date of registration with the time, the number of app counts, the credits that they have, and what is the status. Is the user live currently or you want to deactivate him? Now you can even edit the details here by going into the section and make the relevant changes. If you wish to change the password or something else like the email ID, you can all do it here. So these are admin rights, remember, and this shows the number of apps this user has created and the balance that remains. So the total balance that you have as a reseller is 7, out of which you have given 2 to this user. That's what it shows here. You can add new users from this tab here and create them the way you like. Okay, let's go to the next one. So your user apps will all get shown here in terms of their app IDs, their names, who created it, and the date of creation, and when did the last update happen. It also shows whether this is being featured in the marketplace, whether this is a featured app on your platform, and the current status. You can choose to lock this user or you can delete it. You can even delete this app or lock it from here. Okay, now the most important part is the configuration settings here, which is the brain behind your reseller platform. So this decides what your domain looks like, the payment details, SMTP, and the other general settings. Now let's go to this one by one. Now here in the website settings, you actually define the URL for yourself. So I have put in a demo URL here saying this is demo.myaparea.com. I can even choose to give in my custom site URL. So if you have a site called abc.com, you have to just put it here as a custom domain. So you ensure that if you want to put your custom site URL, you will have to have the A record to point to this particular IP here. So once you have done this mapping for the A record, this custom URL would come into effect. Otherwise, it will not work. So ensure that if you're putting in a custom site URL, you're also setting the A record right in terms of the IP, which is shown here. Okay. Now you're supposed to give in your office address, the support phone numbers here. So you can give the numbers that you want people to call you on. And for your site, the logo goes here. Okay, so this basically is a logo here. So right now you're seeing Appify. This would get replaced by the logo that you put here. Now when you send an email out to your users, you also have a logo there on that emailer. So that logo can be changed by uploading it here. And you can also upload a favicon image. Now favicon image is what's shown on top here sometimes when you have a window open. So that kind of image, once you want to change that, you can also upload that small image here, which would be shown on the top of the window whenever it is open. Okay. Next, you go to payment details. Okay, that's a pretty cool one because you have options to have payment platform through PayPal or through Stripe. Now, basically, if you're going through PayPal, so you'll have to go to the PayPal site and register there and create your merchant ID, for which the entire tutorial is already been done. So you can input your PayPal business email ID here for receiving payments. And for Stripe, similarly, you have to go to the site and register with them to get a secret key like one shown here. And once you have created the Stripe ID and you have added an endpoint, you basically have to add that key here. All right. Now, once you've done those, you can now decide the price of your app. Now, depending on what your marketing strategy is, you can decide the per unit price that you would be charging your customers for this app, and that price goes here. So here it is 40 right now. I can make it whatever. I can make it $1, I can make it 2, I can make it 5, or whatever else, 15. Okay, and I go and say save and next. Now the best part is here, we haven't made anything compulsory for you to put in. So even if you don't put in this step, you can simply skip it and you can go to the next one. All right, now if I want my email ID to go from a particular email, which is my support email, then I'll have to put it here, and I'll have to put in the SMTP settings here so that this particular email ID can become functional. So I'll have to put in the host, the user, the password, and the security type, and the port number, and the support email ID here. So once I put in here, the best thing that I need to do is to test it. Unless I test it, I will never know if my submissions are correct. So to test the SMTP settings, you can give an email ID and check for whether the email reaches you. If it reaches you, it means your SMTP settings are correct. So you must check it before you start making your app live and you make this platform live for users. So basically the idea is to get a support email up and functional and running for you, which is your email and not something that's going on from the Appify platform. So typically the email that goes would be from a no reply at app mail service. So this is what it is by default. To change that into a customized one, you would need to change the SMTP settings. But once you do that, do not forget to test it from here to an email ID of your choice to ensure that it works. Okay, now the next step is the general settings. Now a lot of times we have our Facebook pages, images, and videos uploaded. So to make those work in the app, you'll have to ensure that the general settings here have the Facebook app ID. For that, you will need to go to Facebook and create an app ID and secret key, for which you have the entire tutorial here. So once you go to the developer section of Facebook, you'll have to log in and have to create a new app button, and you'll be asked to choose a platform. And having done that, you will have to create the app ID and copy that app ID and secret key to the screen here for it to work. Okay, similarly, if you have sound files from SoundCloud, so you'll have to put the client ID here, and that's how you do it in terms of registering with them on the developer link and creating a new app there and choosing those settings to save the button. All right, the next thing is the email ID at which you want your emails from users to come in. So the app submitter email. So if your app has been submitted and you want a particular email ID to be receiving the mails about your app publishing request from your customers, this is where you put in your email. So for people who are submitting apps and who want you to publish them, would send your request at this email ID for you to take charge. Okay, now this is the next button which talks about allowing users to register. Okay, now I can create a circle of my own users and not allow anyone to register on their own. And I might like to use this closed circle only for the apps that I'm creating. Now, I also need to have an option to allow the users to register and log in on their own. So, depending on what I choose here, I can allow registration from users or close it for them. So, pick what you want. Now, when I open the reseller website, the home page has a meta title here on top. So I can change what comes here by default. So this is what comes here by default: demo mobile apps. And this is the text that comes on the screen once I log in. So I can change it here and I can make it look something else. I can say my platform, and I can change the text here and say, okay, this looks cool. Okay, and I say save and next. All right, now if I want to change the settings in terms of some coupons that I'm creating, so I can create them here. I can edit them and I can deactivate them or activate them all from here. So if you had a coupon existing, it would come here. I can create one by giving it a name, the code, the validity dates, from which date. So I can give it a date, the kind of discount that I'm offering on that coupon, whether it is a flat rate or a percentage that I'm talking about, and whether this coupon is active as of now. Once I've done that, I have to click on save to create it. All right. Okay. Now the CMS page is a pretty interesting one because it helps you add pages to your website, so to the platform that you've created. So if you want to add terms and conditions, a privacy policy, more about us, and something else, you can choose to add it here or edit the ones that are already existing there. So it's a pretty cool one to create something of your own. Okay, so this is what your platform looks like once you log in and you have created one for yourself. So when you've created something on AppyPie and created a reseller platform, this is what the platform would actually look like to your users. So see here, I had changed the text here saying coolest platform on earth. And here the meta title says my platform. So we changed that last time, if you remember, on the AppyPie platform, and that's how it gets reflected here. So here you go about the About Us section, the subscription, the features. So yeah, so this is how it looks to your users. And since we didn't put in a logo there, had we put one, it would come here on the left side of the screen. I guess I'm going to log in now. And put in the password. So the users who create their apps will come here and through your site, and this is the section that your users would see. So basically this is where the user would be able to have a control over the apps that he's creating, and this is very similar to the platform that you had as a reseller with AppyPie. If you would notice, it has got the My App section wherein the apps that you've created and their features are here, and you can choose to edit them, and then you can create apps here. Okay, so this is how the user would be able to create an app with you.